Welcome to another edition of the Brave Central podcast. Barrett Salee and Chris Dimino with you. Don't forget to subscribe, share, review, do all those things you do with podcasts. The Braves split the series with the Mets 2-2, and now they host the Phillies in, again, the biggest series of the year. It seems like every time we say that, it is the biggest series of the year.
All right.
It's the truth.
I know. Listen, this is how you lose people. You keep promising more and more. No. The next one's going to be bigger. The next one's going to be bigger. Eventually, people go, so that's what we're going to go with. It's the biggest series of the year? Okay.
It's for the time being until probably Monday.
Okay.
But, it was disappointing in New York a little bit. I know the fans probably are frustrated, but looking back at the pitching matchups, the Braves had the advantage the first two, clearly didn't in game three, but this was the game you needed, especially after Griffin Canning goes out in the third inning, and it's a bullpen game against a bullpen that has been subpar to say the least this year. And so yesterday was frustrating on a lot of levels, but specifically that only mustered 3 hits. One of them was in the 9th when it really didn't matter all that much. So it seems like the bats have now gone back to a spot where they're not getting those timely hits. And Chris, that is so dang frustrating because it did feel like it was changing.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what was changing and what wasn't. It's certain. Look, at the end of the day, when this team's offense gets going on a given night, because we really haven't seen them burn through a full week. We haven't seen them burn through 2 full series. We were taking 2 out of 3 and everybody's like, oh, you won another series. But there was never sort of that idea that, I keep talking about bullying people. Throw them down a flight of steps, first 2 games, drag them back up and throw them down a flight of steps for game 3. That hadn't been happening. You're winning 2 out of 3, and that's better than losing 2 out of 3. I get it, but it's also not winning 3 out of 3. It's not imposing your will. This offense hasn't had really many weeks, and I'm not even asking for multiple weeks, that back-to-back series where they impose their will on people, and it's problematic. And I think when you have as many hits as, the Goldilocks story and how many Bears, if you're dealing in threes in offense, unless it's 3 home runs, it's not good. And I agree with you. One of them was even a throwaway. You had 2 hits in the meat of this game, and that's just not enough. And I'm going to go back to what I said. Anybody who keeps telling me they now know it's time, they now know that this team has arrived, they now know. And now it's, well, wait till Profar gets here and wait till maybe we make a move for an offensive guy. Everybody keeps moving the line, and eventually, the season's going to run out. Time will run out. They're still in it because I look at the teams in front of them in the wild card. That's what I look at. And I say, okay, Cincinnati can make a move. Milwaukee can make a move. St. Louis can make a move. All those teams, Arizona can make a move. A couple of them might sell. Some of them might soft sell. Some of them might get it wrong. Some of them would have another pitcher go down. Look, Canning going down last night. If you would have told a Met fan before the season started, Griffin Canning is going to go down in June, they would have said, who's Griffin Canning? And it would have been right to say, who's Griffin Canning? Now, if you don't think that is problematic for them, they won a game, but did they lose the war? They have to do what the Braves have to do. They got to go find another starter. And that just means there's another team in front of you that will be bidding for the services of somebody very similar, which means, again, prices go up. This is a shortage. We've got a bona fide economic widgets, business class story here. It's supply and demand. It's who has them. And then if you do, now again, be careful. Don't wait too long. Don't pull the trigger too soon. But there's another team in New York now that's looking for another starter. So everybody who needed a starter, guess what? Stevie Moneybags, he's going to have an opportunity, as I keep saying, to throw a wallet at something that maybe your owner's not going to let you do.
Yeah, I think the sort of silver lining is that Arizona, which is in the mix, they've got so many injuries that, it does seem like they're in the market to sell because they have so many expiring contracts. So if that happens, there's at least one team that theoretically you should clear. But that's hard to do, especially when the bottom of your lineup is basically a black hole. And it seems like we talk about Michael Harris every single time, but it's getting worse. And I don't know how you can fix it because there are no other options. Alex Verdugo is not going to change things all that much at the bottom. Eli White is not going to change things all that much at the bottom. I don't know what the alternative is other than just saying, dude, just stand up there and take a walk. Stand up there and don't swing unless it's piped right down the middle.
So now we're playing 8-year-old
What else
Literally,
is there?
you send him down, and Eli White plays center field unless you find something else. I mean, you want me to go crazy? I'll give you one. I
Okay.
kept trying to shove people in the left field.
Drake Baldwin.
No, that's old. I already told him
that was
that.
2 months ago.
Go get Alex Bregman and put Austin Riley in left field. There.
Okay.
I'm going to do some. Alex Bregman's got an option. In all likelihood, maybe you're going to be on the hook for his 2 years after this. Maybe. Maybe he likes it here. Maybe you like him. Maybe you tell him to stay. Maybe Austin Riley's your left fielder. I mean, I'm willing to try anything because I don't know what Profar is going to be. But then I'll throw Profar in center field. And if you tell me, oh, wait, you can't have that outfield, why can't I? Like at this point, if offense is your problem and you're playing stellar defense, and that's what I keep hearing, but you ain't winning, maybe it's time to try to go thump people. I used to say this about the Yankees when the Yankees didn't have pitching. And it didn't work because they didn't win a World Series. But we're going to try to beat you 10-8 every night. It's not a great plan, but it's a plan.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to be built to win 10-8, figure out a way to win enough games 10-8. Now, good pitching in the postseason, will it burn you? It could. Bad pitching for you in the postseason, could it burn you? Or not good enough pitching? It could. But at least it's a plan. So there you go. Now I can have more people yelling at me, calling me a fucking dumbass. But I'm just trying. Like I'm sitting in a chair in Atlanta, Georgia on a Friday as Philadelphia comes in, and it just hit me. So why not say it? I'm not telling you it's well thought out. I'm not Oppenheimer. Nobody's asking me to create something. I'm not going to Los Alamos and spending, the government's money and having 100 of the smartest people around me. It's me. I'm sitting in a chair by myself in Atlanta, Georgia, and I just said, Austin Riley's struggling at third base some this year. Make him a left fielder. Get Alex Bregman. Let's figure out if maybe that could work for the here and now. Because I'm not going to pitch well enough. I'm really not. I'm asking these guys to do too much. And I don't have a fifth because I hear Fuentes might start again. I don't have an ace. I have, close. I'm hoping Spencer Strider. But Spencer Strider, when all is said and done, he's really only got a year and a half of really good baseball under his belt. Schwellenbach doesn't even have a full year and a half. He's just got potential. And then Chris Sale is not pitching. He's out. So I got to hope that he comes back to look like an ace, the guy that he was last year and the guy that he was in his last 8 starts. But I can't guarantee that because he could be out of sync. And we saw that with Spencer Strider's hamstring. How long does it take? I don't know. But it was long enough to take him out of sync. It was long enough to not make him look like he was an ace. God, I hope that doesn't happen with Chris Sale, but it might. So maybe I just try to thump you to death. Maybe I just tell Austin Riley, remember that glove that you had? Let's go use that one. We're going to put Alex Bregman at third. I'm not even telling you Alex Bregman is worth it. I'm just trying to change things up to say, if I'm going to try to be or have to be an offensive team, I'm going to be an offensive team. Sean Murphy shouldn't have started in that game last night. This goes back to what I said about managers. I don't criticize if a bullpen guy doesn't do the job. I don't criticize if a guy strikes out with the bases loaded. That's a player. I don't know why Sean Murphy started last night. I got a right-hander on the mound. I got Drake Baldwin, who hit a home run, who I saw take a walk the night before. Play him. Yeah. If Sean Murphy needs to be a pinch hitter coming off the bench, or if there's something that happens where they make a move and you go, okay, now it's going to be Murphy behind the plate, that would have been more fine with me than starting him last night.
I'm with you. On all counts. And you are sort of in a time where desperate times call for desperate measures. Chipper went out to left field for a year and a half when Vinny Castilla came back, I believe is when that happened. You have to find ways to get your best players in. And right now, the best players, if you get Alex Bregman, he needs to play. Austin needs to play. And look, there are so few there are hypotheticals, but none of them really make a lot of sense because of the positions that are being successful right now. Do you pull the Jarrett Kelenic cord again? I mean, I don't know. There are no good answers, but you can't keep going in the direction they're going and expect different results.
There's another problem that hangs over this team that nobody wants to talk about.
Okay.
So again, if I'm stupid enough to bring up Alex Bregman, if I'm stupid enough to say again, Drake Baldwin, go put him in left field. Ronald Acuna is not going to hit like this for the next 3 months.
No.
It's just not. I hate to say it. He could have a 3 for 24 in him over a 5-game stretch. And then what happens? Doesn't mean you can't win the games. But if you think he's going to be this guy for the rest of the season, you're crazy. It's just not doable. I've seen Aaron Judge drop off. I saw Pete Alonso drop off. And you can tell me, well, he's better than Alonso and Judge. Okay, nobody hits 400. They just don't. Nobody gets on base the way that this guy got on base for an extended period of time. It's rare. So here's what will happen. If he continued to hit, and we talked about the Mets hitting him, well, the other thing is you don't pitch to him. I don't let him beat me. He's the guy when they have those fucking meetings. You think the Phillies and Rob Thompson and anybody else is in there going, here's what I'm thinking. Let's go after Acuna. Okay, if you're going after him means you pitch him inside or you try to do something different, then teams will not let that kind of guy beat you. If they do, shame on them. So he's certainly not going to get you late. If he gets you early, he gets you early. You start off a game, he gets you to start off a game. But he's not going to hit at the level that he's hitting at now. So be prepared when that happens and you go, wow, what happened to the rest of the offense? Well, the rest of the offense is playing like a normal human being. 310, X amount of home runs, not X plus, X amount of RBI, not X plus. So that's the reality that's coming next for the Atlanta Braves in terms of everyday play.
If there is something to look forward to this weekend, the pitching matchups do favor the Braves a little bit, especially Friday night when Mick Abel is going for the Phillies.
Don't agree.
Yes, Bryce Elder's an advantage.
Don't agree.
At this point.
Don't agree.
You don't agree? Okay.
Mick Abel, listen, because of Paul Skeens and because of Jacob Mizrahi and now maybe Chase Burns and whoever else might come up, Mick Abel was the guy that was on the shit end of the Brandon Marsh non-play in the outfield. I think Mick Abel might have said, it's just there's a record for everything, so I'm not. But I think it was 5+ innings, less than one run or less, and he did one of those things his first 2 starts, and he's so good that an article that I pointed out yesterday said the projections for, and it was a headline of 3 young pitchers. Mick Abel was the one. And most people go, well, who the hell is Mick Abel? Well, nobody's cared really about the Philadelphia Phillies as much as they've cared about Paul Skeens, Jacob Mizrahi, even striking out Burns, striking out 5 guys, the first 5 guys you faced in the majors. This guy had a moment. I'm not telling you he's sustainable either, but I'm not going to go with Bryce Elder gives you the definitive advantage tonight because Mick Abel's actually pitching to a lesser offense.
Well, I think for Bryce Elder, you got to throw last time out the window because that was the worst start by far this season. He had a run where he had been very successful. When we get Bryce Elder versus Mick Abel, we get Jesus Luzardo against Schwelly. That should be a fun one on Saturday. And then Ranger Suarez, who Braves fans know very, very well, against Spencer Strider. So, again. It is weird, but the Braves have missed Zach Wheeler a few times. Like over the last couple of years, it feels like that has happened. But this series, it's a must. You got to win it. Everyone, you got to win from here on out. You got to sweep some of these. Maybe not this weekend against Philly. That's probably asking too much.
55 and 31 was 640 baseball, which is the basic equivalent of 2 out of 3. So if you want to do it in series, if you want to do it out of any 3, whether series overlap, you want to do it out of 9s, you want to do it out of 10s, that was your lot. And you lose 2 to Miami, you win 2, and everybody says, okay, good, we got those back. And then you kissed your sister. I mean, when all was said and done, that's what you ended up doing over the last couple of nights because you didn't gain any momentum, didn't gain any advantage. I'm telling you, if you're a Braves fan, your biggest advantages might come by looking. Griffin Canning just went down. I'm not talking about catching the Mets, but remember, the Mets have been caught by Philadelphia. So the Mets are in the wild card hunt every bit as much as you are. Like, we kept talking for a minute like, catching the Mets. Well, it's catching Philadelphia. It's catching Philadelphia and or the Mets. So Griffin Canning going down helps others, but where it doesn't help the Atlanta Braves or anybody else is looking for a starting pitcher, now the Mets are looking for a starting pitcher. And be prepared for the price to go up, financially at least.
And there aren't many out there, too. We've mentioned Charlie Morton on the show for about 2.5 weeks now. That price for him definitely went up. Pittsburgh's got some players that I've heard that they're willing to move. But, yeah, you're right. Right now, you're looking at the Padres as that last wild card, and the Braves are 7 games out of that. So it's going to be tough.
Freddie Peralta, Merrill, I went through the list 2 weeks ago of guys who could be available. Okay, but if you want them, that means somebody else does. Like, this is not a draft. I don't get to just pick. This is not a you go first, I go second, you take him, I take him. That's not how it works. It's called a negotiation and a trade. So We'll see. But the Mets, I think, are probably going to be in the market for a starting pitcher and a center fielder. So be prepared.
Yep. So hopefully the Braves get that done quickly, so the Mets can't jump in front of them. But Double A needs to do something very, very quickly because this thing is close to falling off the rails. He's Chris Dimino. I'm Barrett Sully. This has been Brave Central. Don't forget to subscribe, review, share, all of that stuff. And we'll be back on Monday morning, hopefully after a series win over the Phillies.